Howdy ho motherfuckers, Overman back up in this bitch, and in today's video, we are gonna take a look at a legendary pulse rifle. But shit, you already knew that, cause you clicked on the motherfucking video, you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail, so let's jump into it. Alright, so we start off with the Red Dot ORS-1. This is a nice sight. It adds a little bit of zoom, but it is a little clunky around the edges. I do think that this is a nice happy medium between the other two sights that we're gonna see in this list, but personally, this one just doesn't float my boat on this particular weapon. The next sight we have is Focus Lens FL-A-5. This is a nice precision scope and it adds a good amount of zoom. So this is ideal for PvE for those longer distance engagements. I have tried this one out in PvP and I did use it to some success in those long range engagements, but it did fail me in the short range, of course. And finally we have Sure Shot IS. This is a very clear and precise sight, and if you have the Thunderlord, you're gonna be right at home with this one because it's basically the same sight, it's just that the dot is red instead of blue. This one is great for short to medium range fights that you're gonna be getting into in the Crucible, so of course this is my sight of choice when I'm poning noobs in the Crucible. Alright, so for the first bonus, we have Grave Robber. This is gonna give you a chance to refill your magazine every time you get a melee kill. Keyword, a chance. This shit is inconsistent as fuck. I had really high hopes for this perk, but it just let me down. I tried to get some percentages and some numbers for you guys to let you know what you can expect, but shit, I didn't get anything solid because I got it like 3 times in a row, and then after that for like the next 50 melee kills I didn't get shit. It's really weird and inconsistent. I'm sure that was just a little bit of an anomaly, but long story short, this perk is inconsistent as fuck. I wouldn't expect too much from it. Alright, so let's move on to something a little bit more consistent in the second tree. The first perk is Flared Magwell. This is a oldie but a goodie. It's gonna increase that reload speed. This is always good on every gun. Even though the AllFate has decent reload speed already, faster is always better. So the next perk is Snapshot. This doesn't make the hugest difference in the world, but it does make something of a difference. In general though, you're not going to be able to tell unless you switch back and forth between having Snapshot and not having Snapshot. Then you can tell the difference, but if you just casually go between the two, you're probably not going to notice too much of a difference. I would definitely not suggest Snapshot in PvE. I don't think you really need it, but in PvP it can be nice for aiming down sights just a little bit quicker, because that could make the difference. And finally we have a new House of Wolves perk, Casket Mag. This is going to give you 6 extra shots in the mag. That's going to bump it up to 33 rounds in the mag. However, it is going to decrease your stability. So I personally don't like this. For me, pulse rifles, and especially this one, is a precision weapon. I like to get headshots. Now, when I have Snapshot or Flared Magwell, I can very easily get 2 to 3 headshots per burst. But with Casket Mag, I find that it's just a lot harder. Now, I didn't play around with Casket Mag for too long, but in the short time I used it, I just didn't like it. I preferred getting off those 2 to 3 headshots instead of 1 to 2 headshots. Quality over quantity here for me personally, but of course this is subjective. Go with what you like. Alright, so the final bonus is Hidden Hand. This is going to give us a little bit better aim assist. This is always nice and it's going to help you out with your aiming. Not a bad perk at all. Alright, so in PvE, this is a very, very solid gun, but not because of the perks. I find that the perks are very lackluster on this gun, and I wish it had some better ones. But this gun is made good out of the raw stats that this thing has. I really like the rate of fire on this gun. It's very easy for me to get into a groove with this rate of fire and impact. It's hard to explain what I mean here without actually testing out a pulse rifle with this rate of fire, but it's very easy to predict when you can fire that next burst. With a gun like the 3 little words, it takes a little bit of getting used to so that you can know when to fire the next burst. If you try to just tap the trigger as fast as you possibly can, half of those taps aren't going to do anything. The weapon just will not fire that fast. With this pulse rifle, I'm not mashing the trigger or anything, but I'm in a nice groove and I know exactly when I can fire the next burst. Very hard for me to explain, but it feels good is what I'm trying to say. And the impact is solid. If you recall, I really like the Coiled Hiss 1919 that was available before the House of Wolves, and this one has more impact. It does have less rate of fire, but it has more impact, which is definitely nice. It's going to help you clean up those minions a little bit faster, and it will help against those beefier targets. I do find that this is better at taking on yellow bars and shields, but I don't think that this weapon excels at yellow bars and shields. I think the higher impact primaries generally do better against those kinds of enemies. But this does very well against minions, and it is adequate against those tier 2 enemies. But as usual, I personally like to pull out my secondary to handle those tier 2 enemies. Overall, this is not a bad gun at all. it's quite good because of the raw stats. 27 rounds in the mag with decent impact and a good rate of fire makes this a solid choice for PvE. I do think the perks could have been a little bit better for PvE, but it's okay. Alright, so now let's talk about this thing in PvP. Let me start off by saying that this gun has a deceptively low TTK, judging by that impact. You would think that this would be like a 4-burst kill. Nah, it's 3 bursts, and with that rate of fire, 3 bursts ain't shit. This gun is nasty as fuck. I really like this one in PvP. This probably is my favorite pulse rifle right now in terms of legendary pulse rifles. I do like Red Death a little bit more in general, but this one is right behind it. It's very fun to use, and it's very forgiving because of that rate of fire. 3-burst kill can happen very quickly if your aim is on point, but if you miss here and there, it's not the end of the world as long as you're not fighting someone who has good aim with a hand cannon. Alright, so when you get 2 bursts with headshots, you're gonna leave the enemy at a very low health. So what this means is that if your enemy has any type of prior damage, like maybe your teammate got him with like 1 shot or 2 shots or something like that, you can 2-burst with this gun. That makes it very nice for team play. So now for a little bit of criticism. I do think if this thing had perfect balance, I could probably do a little bit better. I do find that I miss some of my shots when I'm using this pulse rifle, and that is because the spread on the bullets is not big, but it's not exactly tight either. So if this thing had like fitted stock, counterbalance, perfect balance, whatever, something for that stability, this would turn it into an absolute beast in the Crucible, in my opinion. So in conclusion, what I'm saying is I would recommend this pulse rifle, but I would also recommend re-rolling it so that you can get some better bonuses depending on what you need. If you're a big PvE player, I'd say try to go for an extended mag build for PvE so that you can kill tons of minions or just pour in a ton of damage into one single target. Now for PvP, I think Hidden Hand is a solid bonus, but it would really synergize well if it had better stability, so counterbalance, perfect balance, fitted stock, whatever. Anything that would increase that stability is good. Now I'm telling you guys to reforge this one because I think the perks are a little bit lackluster, but me personally, I won't be reforging it because I actually picked up another pulse rifle that has the same rate of fire and impact but has much better perks. And if you want to see that, stay tuned, motherfuckers. I will make a video on that soon enough once I get it leveled up, but I won't spill the beans just yet on what pulse rifle it is. Go ahead and guess in the comment section though if you think you know. Well, that's it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to smash that like button. It really helps out a lot. And if you're not feeling too shy, drop a comment down below and let me know what you think about this pulse rifle. Are you gonna buy it? Are you gonna reforge it? Or are you just gonna run it stock? And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can become a member of the Overman Army, group of the baddest motherfuckers across all of YouTube. That's it for me though, guys. Overman out!